is they usually just do fire. So one of the properties was a rebuild from Woolsey. And so I went, oh no, maybe all of the ones from Woolsey are rebuilt all key. So I started a process with a little bit of help from the sheriffs, but working tightly with Knox Company and trying to figure out how many were installed after the Woolsey fire. And then they're going to give me the addresses and then I can go check. But we believe that there's about 14 within the city limits that have been installed. And the problem, just so you know, is that on the Knox Company's website, there's a drop-down menu for this area, and it comes up LA County Sheriffs. So contractors, I think, are going, oh, okay, we go get that box. But it's wrong, and I was on the phone again with them today, I'm like, can you add the fire department? So like, no, you can't really do that. I'm like, that doesn't make much sense. But anyway, we're gonna try to resolve the ones that we are looking into right now. So we've already fixed 2 of them, and I'm gonna get a list from them, so that's it.
Okay. Questions? Noah, do you have anything? Nope. Okay. How about it?
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Miguel, I have Miguel, right? I'm sorry, US, sorry. So do you know the homeless lady living in Malibu, about 4 years, gothic, clothing, black hair, straight black hair, about 30-something from Arizona. She looks Hispanic.
The black Honda.
No, she didn't have a car.
She was used to it.
Sound like a family?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In Western Beach.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that'll be done.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's just one girl. She's 30.
She's not the son, the daughter.
That's the daughter.
The mom was there too before.
From Arizona?
They're this close to getting housed.
I've never seen her with a mom. She's
This
the
was
one.
last year, I think maybe she moved on.
I see her by herself up there now in Westford. The car's there. I don't see him or the mom.
So she's very slender, she's Hispanic, straight hair, all black.
Been here for years.
Yeah. And you know Grace? Oh, so what's going on with her? Is she going back to San Diego?
No, not receptive to any of us. Walks dangerously close to PCH. I'm scared she's gonna get run over.
Is she on? Does she have substance use? Is she
No, definitely something.
She needs help.
Yeah, but
I don't know if it's really appropriate to be talking about particular
About-
individuals
okay.
or names, okay?
Okay, so I won't mention this lady's name. She's in her 70s, she has very short, she's been here about 6 months from Colorado, very slender, petite.
here in Davis
In
Park,
the central Malibu by Whole Foods.
it's what I think it is. She's also close to
The first name starts with an R.
it. It's
So is she getting help?
close to it. There's many elements to that one, but we're good.
Thank you.
Geofencing,
Yeah.
is that going to be something the city absorbs or the individual markets absorb?
That would be fun.
Okay, because that's pretty expensive. But those cards, the ones at Whole Foods are expensive cards, like $500 a piece. So, also, there's 2 people camping at Corral. One of them's been there about 3 years. The silver Suburban. You know what I'm talking about? The one that fits in the dirt. Yeah. And there's also, I see that the little Cadillac, the SUV Cadillac's back too. Has that guy been getting ticketed? So he's got to have like the world debt now.
I'll have to run the plate. I know he did pay a few. I guess like somebody pays, somebody doesn't. But yeah, he's getting hit for whenever our options. I know Corral was usually where they would start the route, and because that was a big area of focus before. But like the overranting, that's where they started. And they clean house there, and then they worked their way westbound now. Eastbound.
Chris, what about our camping ordinance? Back to that again. I mean, he's camping there. He has been for a while. Is there something we can?
So the sheriff has directed the department not to
Enforce our camping ordinance?
criminalize homelessness.
So enforcing a camping ordinance would be that, would it be? Okay. All right.
He's not receptive to
Pardon me?
any, he's not receptive to any conversation we've been having with us.
What about the Cadillac? They're not together.
No.
All right.
On that topic, are you saying that was the sheriff ordered by the district attorney not to criminal, or is that just the sheriff's call?
I don't have that internal information.
Okay, thank you. Chris, do you have anything else? Susan, on the SRO, I don't remember from the city council meeting, did you get specific direction to put out an RFP, RFQ for the private security on the SRO, or is that something that we need to do and then take it to council?
That, actually, I'm talking to the school district and our city attorney's office. The school district needs to do that. We can pay for it. There's precedent for that kind of arrangement. So again, we'll be meeting with the school district. I talked to Isaac today, and we're going to be meeting with Antonio and Isaac and Carrie and himself or Christine Wood and the city
Sure.
office. So to talk about all of this.
I'm just thinking, would it make sense just to go ahead with the RFP, RFQ, because we kind of get an idea,
No,
right, of the pricing? Not that
we
we're
already know, we just did one, we got 20 responses from people, we know the rates, and we know the credentials.
Okay, so we can have a
all
ballpark.
that information, we can provide, depending on when it is, they might even be able to piggyback off the RFP we just did, even though it's a slightly different project, but since we did an RFQ, which is qualifications, it's all the qualifications there and their fee schedule, so it's possible that we can do that.
Okay. Do you have?
Did IPS throw their hat in that?
Okay.
Sort of,
Sarah, how many CERT members do we have?
In total, we're probably close to about 50, about 30 that are active team members, and around 12 auxiliary. So, in total,
Gabe, the blue dots, are those available for residents just to come get or purchase, and we can just do them ourselves?
They could just call me and I'll come out here. A specific street or something.
Specific neighborhoods.
Yeah, I'm gonna start, my plan is once the private streets are done, we start on the west end of the city, with the public streets, and just work this way.
Okay.
But if you have some that you know is really great, I'll be back.
Should I just email you
Sure.
what I see?
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
And we're keeping them off, like main canyon roads, and we're not redoing DCH, because those get scraped pretty regular, and them off when there's repaving, when there's rock slides and all that stuff, so you need the heavy duty stuff, and that doesn't even look the scrapers, so.
Gabe, when you were boots on the ground, did you look for those blue dots? Was that part of the system back then?
Yeah, they're really, they strike you at night, they catch your eye, so yeah.
Mark found a hydrant up here doing a fire up on the hill. And what the engine asked you were
Yeah, they didn't know where it was 88, so they didn't know where the hydrant was, so they had to go find it. I was just getting the streets with my light and it just popped right up.
Yeah.
So they're invaluable.
Yeah, they're very good.
Doug was big on that.
Yes, he was.
Especially, the county's not doing a very good job of maintaining the fire hydrants and the brush clearance around them. So it's something that Merrill put out.
District 29.
Yeah.
So,
Sophia Lavarnfire is the one that you know, saying that her impression is the property owner's responsibility.
It's District 29. We went all through this a couple different times, and everybody tried to blame it on somebody else. People up in Malibu Park will paint their fire hydrants, whatever color their house was. There's a silver one on gal behind it. Just make it look cool in the front yard. We kind of got into it with whose responsibility it was, and it came back to 29.
I remember that.
Brush and everything.
I'm just saying that Sophia was saying today, so that's her impression.
To maintain just the brush. not hydrant, they
The
would,
brush.
yeah, they wouldn't be maintaining the hydrant. Yeah, I don't think so.
The way it used to be is we would test every hydrant in the district every year, and we just bring hand tools with you and try to clear any brush that needed it and test it, but now it's just,
That's not happening.
it's not that.
Gabe, maybe you can go out and do it.
Yeah,
I'll go with you.
Okay.
You'd like-
How is the, by the way, the grants for the tree removal, how's that all?
Well, so the one that I talked to you guys about for the last couple of years, we're actually doing the last 4 days of this month. We'd save some money till the end, and then after the fires, and we'll just finish it.
But you had another one also.
Yeah, Susan started the ball rolling on that one, and I don't think we heard back.
We haven't heard back
That was a
yet.
pretty good sized grant you asked for.
1 million, right?
To do both live hazard trees and dead hydrants.
Palm trees?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right on.
Yeah, this one was, Alexis was 1 million finishing, and that was the mistake.
And it started out at like 300,000, and then you asked for more.
So
What did
good.
she say? Well, we like what we had, well, why don't we double it?
She said, how much more do you want?
That was great negotiations there, Dave.
She goes, how about 350,000? I went, yeah. That was around 2.
All right.
All right, do we have anything?
Commissioner comments? I have one. For anybody that doesn't know, and I know Joe out there knows about this, the Boys and Girls Club down there in Malibu is knocking it out of the park for people that have been burned out. Could be the Palisades, could be here. My wife actually works in there, which is really cool, so I get, all the status on what's going on. But they've got all this stuff down there. They're handing out Toomey luggage and a lot of good stuff. And the people that go in there come out very happy. The person will shop for you, get your size, go in, pick out a bunch of stuff and bring it out. On Wednesdays, they have a farmer's market down there, which World Kitchen puts on, and that's for anybody. Anybody that goes down there on a Wednesday can pop into the farmer's market there. So, I mean, honestly, they're only open, I think, 4 days a week, Boys and Girls Club, but tell your friends, tell anybody you know that has been through this problem to go down there. It's well worth it, and they want to help. It's set up for everybody. And I'm sure everybody knows by now about the $3,200 from the Red Cross. So make sure all your friends, neighbors, relatives, whoever got burned out, know that the Red Cross will have a check for $3,200 for it. No strings attached. So that's it for me.
I just want to say, there's a new interim code enforcement officer, Carrie Rios. She does great work. She helped Councilmember Euring and I solve a problem at that office building down there.
With the transient unit.
Yeah.
And they were good at it. I said, if I could do 10 club emojis, your emails and
Yeah, so that's good. It's I'm happy that she knocked it out of the park. So I'm happy with that. You see her around. For us. All right, let's move on. Nothing on the consent calendar. New business. Recommended assignments.
Right, and you know, this is the time of year when we need to set the assignments for next year. Attached, I took my best stab at it to begin with, but I this will not be heard, we won't change any of it. It's basically the same as last year. I updated a couple things, as I mentioned here. Updated notes to the so that it's like feedback about parking enforcement program. Number 10, to just better reflect the current effort, which is recommendations of the implementation. So we've already found the site, now it's a matter of implementing it, and then adding the annual selection for the report. So if these are good, that's great. If you want to add or change anything, let me know, and I will submit them, and then they will be presented to council to adopt as part of the budget.
Do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
I'm good.
Is it possible to assess the Malibu Canyon road safety vis-a-vis the having K-rails preventing cars from driving off, and also recommending like having angel tires on Malibu, like the cross section of Malibu Road and it's a city center way, because we have lost so many people on Malibu Canyon, even within the Malibu city limits.
Is that a roadway that might be more of a public works thing?
Yeah, I wish Rob was here, he probably can answer that a little bit better. I think some of it is ours, but the part you're talking about, it's not ours.
Well, I mean, even on the Malibu city limits, we need carols, and also the
Yeah.
speed limits, that we have two crosses right there, two people passed away. One time a car flew into Bruce Silverstein's house from the area that doesn't have care. So just an assessment of the safety amount, if you can add that.
Maybe, it's unfortunate, we should maybe ask Rob, when he was here, I don't know if he will come next month, and
Well,
ask him, because we might get better.
I asked him
direction.
last time he said, oh, we'll bring it up to city council. And I asked for pricing, so it's 5,000 per. But I think if we can just drive up and also the speed limit, we should actually enforce residential, 25 miles an hour the minute they get into Malibu Canyon, so that cars will not be careening down, because we have people who lost their
There's a lot,
lives.
there's a lot of rules about speed limits with, I don't know what they have on that road.
Because it's industrial, at least
Rule
30.
85s.
30 on the mountains, 30 on the side of HRO, and
Why don't we do
Pepperdine,
this?
25 on.
We can agendize a discussion about this, and then we can make sure Rob stays for that, to be able to give you any updates, because some of this may be like in works, I don't know.
I'm always happy to look at stuff that will help. I would love to look at that.
Council did does.
Well,
Yeah,
and it
You have
doesn't, I don't know if it needs to be part of your assignments,
Council can agendize it, and maybe somebody can drive, we can drive and be specific about the areas within the tiny little part of Malibu.
What do you mean, we would drive like, we would all even go drive, or we would do
Or
it
just
individually?
one car will just go on Malibu Canyon Road.
I think that's something we would.
You have done it before, right?
No,
But
I-
individual.
okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Since what we're talking about right now are the assignments, I mean, if you want, you can add assignment to provide feedback and recommendations on road safety in the city. And then it's just a broad, and so then you can have that, as something you agendize one day, and other areas as well.
That's a good way, I think that's good, I like that.
That's perfect.
Yeah. If you go out as a group, then the city has to get a van and go through all of that, and that's
Yeah.
not,
So you see, now if I drive, take pictures of
Sure.
the area.
Absolutely.
absolutely, we do it all the time.
And I'm allowed to also to what extent do we contact the county for the other parts? For the CO?
You don't.
You don't.
We don't personally, because we're city.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Josh, I forgot that you're chairman.
No, it's okay.
No,
It's okay. I'm not gonna. I know better than to stop you when you start
Much
going.
more knowledge.
Well, my name is still on there, it says I'm still chair, somebody made a big mistake here.
And one thing, I'll have to check with Rob, this could be on the public works assignment possibly, and it could be something that when we have an item like that, we have to do a meeting. I'll talk to Rob and I'll find out.
Last meeting, they said no. I just said, is there anything about putting carols on the Malibu city limits? Because there are crosses, there are people who passed away right as you turn into Malibu city, the two people. And then there's a Pepperdine professor that passed away. I think I know a dozen people in the past 23 years that have been there.
Okay, so
It's just past all the
if
place.
this
Definitely.
is what
Just
you
pass
want,
use.
this will be the language, I'll consult Rob just to make sure we're not like stepping out of our boundaries here. But, it's all cool, I can provide feedback and recommendations regarding road safety improvements in Malibu.
And then where can I study the parameters for road for speed limits?
I know Rob has it, I may have it.
Okay.
There's a lot, and we'll put out, but there's a whole,
Yeah, I won't let the city will give me, I won't like Google it, I'll bug you one day about it.
okay. All of, because I'm pretty sure I have it.
Look
Yes.
up, look up the rule, is it 85s or 89s? Rules of 85s?
I believe it's 85.
Look up the rule of 85s on speed, on speed and safety. That'll tell you a lot about how you go about lowering speed limits. And by the way, if they do a speed test and the speed comes up that 85% of them are going faster, they'll raise the speed limit. So you got to be very careful about it.
Oh, wow.
This has happened on Mulholland. Residents out there were irate. So just, it's not a really good system.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Good to know.
but I think they're trying to change it, actually. Trying to get rid of it.
It doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Okay, I will add that.
Thank
If there's any reason why I can't add it, I'll report that out at the next meeting.
Okay.
So, I'm a big fan of keeping this as lean as possible, just because things come up and I want to be able to react to things as quickly as possible. That being said, with this school separation, I don't know when it's going to happen. If there's an agreement, it happens, boom, boom, boom. At that time, are we going to be looking at the school safety, or is that where do we come in for the school safety and security of the students and the schools
That's a
themselves?
good question, because again, we'll have a new school district, a mountain school district, and they'll probably make those decisions, so I'm not sure what our connection would be with them on that. I guess to be determined.
Correct.
Because the district is a governmental entity separate from the city.
Okay, so we form our own, and then, okay, so we don't have to necessarily put that on our list to start preparing for the eventuality itself. Because I don't know if it's going to be in 6 months or 6 years or 60 years.
Right, so because of that, then it's not even.
All right. So nothing else?
One small item.
Sure.
But I know sometimes there's an issue with vehicles on Civic Center Way, on the business side of Civic Center Way, we park there all day. I know, by all day, I mean not always from 12 to, not during the hours that it's illegal, but like we were talking about last time, was the bicycling clubs, cycling clubs, they just take those spots. And you said you've tried before to make it, to limit the, like 4-hour parking, 2-hour parking, but it's free, there's no meters at it. But what is your vision about that part of Civic Center Way? It's free parking, people can stay all day.
I do want to remind the commission that this is not on agenda.
Yeah, we're talking about assignments for next year.
Yeah. Should it be an assignment for parking? But that's not our
I think it's
purview.
really, what can we explain? I mean, there's rules, we have a lot of rules, we're creating limited time for you to get to the.
Okay, so that's somebody else's.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I would say, you know, as a commissioner, it's always good to communicate with staff and obviously respect their time as much as
Yeah.
possible, right? But, you know, if you ask these questions, you know, you can ask, they're happy to answer. So you can get a lot of information that way. You know, it's about relationships inside school. So, you know,
Thank
it's
you.
yeah, absolutely.
I might just reach out to Rob.
I'll
and
make
see
you a
if he can
smoothie.
just,
I know what kind of
say, I wanna
smoothie you
give
like.
you 30 minutes of your time to.
Yeah, bring
work on
food.
that.
Oh, yeah. She likes smoothies. I know what kind of smoothie you like.
Yeah, all right.
So we need a motion on this.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the assignments as is with the additional item that Alexis proposed.
I second it.
Are you able to specify what that additional item is for the record, please?
Yes, I'll read it. Provide feedback and recommendations regarding road safety improvements in Malibu.
Thank you. And I have first motion of Chair Spiegel and second for Commissioner Arga, is that correct? Is there a consensus to approve?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're on item 5B. Nominate and approve the first recipient of the Mike Trinan Public Safety Award. So, is there a staff report? Do we have public comment?
No public comment, no speakers submitted for this item.
Before we start, I just want to say, you know, I feel strongly that this award should mean something, kind of more than a lot of the awards that we give out here.
Absolutely.
And before we nominate someone, I also feel strongly that for the first award, it should be a single person. I have an idea. I don't know if you'd like to nominate anyone, but you know, I have a nomination.
There you go, there's a mic trying, I've had that on for 3 years. And Luke, has these in his glove compartment. So ask him for them, wear them.
Well, I mean, to me, there's one obvious one, and I nominate Mark Russo.
I was gonna nominate him too.
Serious, thank you.
Yes.
That's good. I was going the same place.
Appreciate it, that means a lot. I worked a lot of years with Mike, so that means something, thank you.
Yeah, we're setting the tone there, so it's gonna be tough to beat.
You got a compliment yesterday from Jim Royal, who I contacted to get a hold of Sharon, trying to just let her know what's going on. And he said he remembers the time that you spent with him doing Woolsey, and he was so appreciative of that. He said he could have never gotten through that without your help. So there you go.
And I hope one day there will be someone as deserving as you.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that, thank you.
You mean a lot to this community. Thanks.
Is it okay to invite his
I'll
son?
be in touch with you to arrange the dates for the council and make sure it's safe.
Okay.
I just want to say for the record, is there any other nominations on the table?
I was just wondering.
Keegan and Brian.
It would be unanimous.
Yeah, it would be.
I will speak to them.
So for the record, we need a motion to approve this nomination.
I'll make the motion to give Mark Russo the first recipient of Mike Charles Public Safety.
I'll second.
Thank you, and consensus?
Now, Mark, you understand why I called this.
Yeah.
To remind you to come to the
appreciate
meeting.
that.
Not saying time, but
That's when you
Yeah.
come doing the same thing.
What's that?
Is it okay to invite Connor Trinan? He's my friend.
The one that worked at Ralph's.
Used to, not anymore.
No, I know he doesn't.
Now he's into cars.
Invite
Yes,
him,
you don't,
sure,
you
you
don't,
can.
Yeah,
of
so
course,
we'll
you don't need
invite-
my permission
No?
to do so. Absolutely.
Okay.
Didn't one of his sons work at the station? Whose son worked at the station? One of the deputies. I thought it was mine. 2 sons. One of them worked at the station, then moved to Colorado, and one of them worked at Ralph's.
McGee moves Colorado.
That's his son. His son.
No, it's, I forget his first name, but.
Mike's, yeah, no, I remember.
You know
Mike's-
Connor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mike's son worked at Ralph's.
Mike's son did, yeah,
I know that.
yeah.
But I remember a deputy son working, I remember like a cousin a lot.
He's working as a mechanic over there. Somebody's son was
Oh,
working.
okay.
Yeah.
So before we move on this one, we'll need a roll call since this is a recommendation of council. So I will start with Commissioner Arias. Do you approve?
Yes.
Commissioner Frost?
Yes.
Commissioner Gibbs absent. Vice Chair Merrick absent. Chair Stephen.
Yes.
All right. Motion passes.
Me too.
All right, 5C, Public Safety Agency Monthly Activity Report.
All right. Here, Chris.
Yeah, I'll go first. So, thanks for having me, of course. It's nice having a seat at the table. We covered the vehicles, and I think that's pretty straightforward. Really appreciate, by the way, the city doing quite a bit to get us those vehicles. I mean, it means everything to us. You know, as we know, we do a lot of work out there, and you know, it's a little hard when we're down like one, like today, right now, as we sit, we have 1 car that we're patrolling with. But we're gonna get this other car back by Friday, so that's something that's issue. So getting these 2 cars plus the third one is gonna be, I mean, we should have a great summer. You know, you never know when disaster strikes out there, right? So appreciate that. In terms of the team's doing really well. We're actually up to about 23 members right now. We have 3 more applicants. It's a kind of an elaborate process we go through to try to recruit. We do a lot on our own social media outreach. We go to a lot of events trying to recruit members. And, they don't always work out for Malibu just because of our expectation, our standards. But a lot of times they'll end up getting to go be at another city that's within Los Hills' jurisdiction. So we've gotten actually pretty good at that. And our training program that we have is like per the county volunteer services, they said that look, if keep doing what you guys do, you actually train these people better than we do. So, we take it pretty seriously. It's not for everybody, but I think we're pretty happy with where we're at. And of course, we're not into the quantity, we're into the quality. Trying to keep them on, but the team's doing really good right now. So we have, as I said, 3 new applicants. So year to date, right now we have we've collectively worked, and that includes Palisades, 2,500 hours. So, and then, in terms of citation issuance, we've issued year to date about another, I'd say, 1,000 citations that we had. Obviously, the Palisades fire really took us offline from a lot of that stuff, took everybody offline from a lot of that stuff. But, we're out there and obviously working, getting ready to gear up with each team. We may have a busy summer. So, because the West End, obviously, there's probably spots, I think, where, when the weather's nice, we have a lot of people out there. So, that's kind of what we're doing on that end. And then, I think that's pretty much all I got. We have the vehicles, the training, the team status, so we're good. Questions? Okay.
All right. So as of Sunday, Captain C2 is no longer going to be at Lost Hill Station. I'm sure you all heard. She is growing to commander. So she's going to be the North Patrol Division commander. Lost Hills is part of North Patrol, so she'll be indirectly connected to the station. So well deserved for her. I'm sure everyone appreciated her time here. Next item is the speed bumps at checkpoints, if you've heard about those. So over the course of the past couple months with the closures, we've had drunk drivers come through the checkpoint. We've had people just barreling through, not stopping at the checkpoint. We've had people being clocked 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, mainly at night when the traffic's died down. But the National Guard and the deputies and the LAPD and CHP officers said we need to slow these people down. So these speed bumps were installed at the checkpoints. And so that caused quite the backup because these dump trucks can't go over them at speed. They have to basically slow to a crawl to go over them. So now we reconfigured the lanes. So one lane with general traffic is speed bumps, and then the dump trucks and other heavy vehicles take a side lane with no speed bumps, and so it's speeding things along. Each team is starting at the end of the month. Memorial Day weekend is going to be our first weekend. So in years past, generally the beach team consists of a full-time sergeant and 8 to 10 deputies. Well, because of staffing shortages, I have no full-time sergeant and I have 2 deputies assigned to the beach. So with that, I'm trying to fill in with overtime, but they're already being mandated between 4 to 6 extra shifts working regular patrol to cover that. So we're hopeful that people will step up, but they have lives outside of work, and we want to encourage them to take their time off when they get it. So I'm going to be stretched thin this summer, but we'll make it work. The substation radio tower was approved at Planning Commission about 2 weeks ago. However, it's been appealed and it's not gonna be before the city council. I don't have a date when it's gonna be in front of the city council, but that's coming down the pipeline.
Was it a group that appealed it or an individual?
I haven't seen it
It
yet, I
was-
just heard.
Is it appropriate?
It's a group? you
Yes.
guys?
It was the it was the MTC, appealed it. Here, as it's their right.
And I have the crime statistics for the month of April. There were 20 Part 1 crimes reported. And that brings the total to 72 for 2025. And that compares with 124 from the same time last year, and that's a 41.9% increase year over year. The 5-year change from 2020 is a 29% decrease. So that's a good reduction.
Yours say increase.
Decrease. 29% decrease. 5 years. And a couple notable arrests.
Yeah.
So on April 22nd, at about 8:45 at night, a driver came barreling into the checkpoint and didn't stop. The deputies that were assigned to the checkpoint ended up getting her to stop, and she presented a forged California driver's license. When she was asked why she was in possession of a fake driver's license, she stated she had failed her driver's test, and a friend had given her the license. When they arrested her and they inventoried her vehicle, a firearm case was discovered underneath the front passenger seat, and inside the case was a loaded Ruger handgun, Axon taser, and 2 taser cartridges, and the gun was a ghost gun. So she was additionally charged for those crimes. On May 3rd, so this past Saturday, at Cross Creek, the Country Mart here, the victim became involved in an argument with a male transient for no apparent reason. The suspect told him, "If you want to fight, let's fight. I'll effing kill you." The victim began to walk away to de-escalate the situation. And then when the suspect reached into his backpack and furnished a large silver machete, the suspect raised the machete over his head and continued to scream and challenge the victim to a fight. The victim fled. Deputies immediately responded and were able to locate the suspect near the Malibu pier, and were able to arrest him. And inside his backpack, they located the machete. So he was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and criminal threats.
The Chevys are back.
I mean, is there a way to check?
Now we're done with, they've kind of gone the wayside. Wow.
Well, they use it often. The one last year,
Oh, yeah.
the dad, the year before that.
We've had several of them.
That's all I have. Available for questions.
The ghost gun can be a gun without a serial number on it, or without a registered serial number. Is that the case?
Ghost guns don't have any identifying features, so no serial.
None.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So 3D guns are those guns.
So the May 3rd incident, the machete, the transient, can you describe what it looked like when I was in a lab?
It is a male white, 49 years old.
The hair is
Brown hair, green eyes.
thin.
Yes.
It's a regular person in Malibu.
Melissa is transient.
So we don't know.
I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Anything else?
Hey, one thing I just wanted to bring up, I forgot to mention it, are we doing the award on the 12th for
On
the
Monday, I was
kids?
just thinking the same.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we had a incident back on, I think it was April 5th. We were out on patrol, one of our units was out on patrol, and we were actually training one of the OPs from Cura. We hear this call come out of a structure fire off Baylor on the other side of Trancas. And so our unit was the first one there. Fire wasn't there, deputies weren't there yet, but these teenagers that were local kids there, they saw this garage that had caught on fire, an area in front of the garage had caught on fire. So they had the presence of mind to, one of them, got a bunch of water out of the hose or some buckets or whatever and was trying to put out the fire. The other one called 911, gave good, directions to the fire and things like that. So, everybody responded. And by this time, the fire, they did their best to try to put it out, but it was a structure fire on a 2-story house there that was really starting to pick up because it was a wood garage door. So they really did the right thing. They kept their heads, called 911, one tried to put out the fire. And so anyway, in recognition, we were really proud of what these guys did. Even the captain from 71's, congratulated them and said, hey, you guys absolutely did the right thing. The city is going to present them on May 12th, I believe. Right, and we talked to the parents. We actually invited them. The station had an open house recently, so we invited them out there. They got to meet the captain and, got kind of a little tour around the station. So at that city council, the city's going to provide them something. Actually, the sheriff's department is too. They're getting a Star Scroll, and I talked to Megan and Drew Smith, and they're gonna give me something as well at that meeting. So
Good.
I wanted to bring that up. Yeah.
That's fun.
So they're 15. Well, one is 15 years old, one is 13.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
I'm not gonna say their names, but
Right.
those are my boys.
They are.
Yeah.
I know
They're from Boo West, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They're really nice kids.
Fantastic.
Boo West.
Blue
Yeah.
West.
Yeah. They did the right thing. We were very, very impressed.
They're great kids.
Yeah.
Really are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Are you knitting that right under your neck? What are you?
No, this was the cowl I made my aunt. I got a cold.
That's great. I didn't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Nathan and Jane are very proud.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, that makes me feel good. All right, let's move on to 5D. Let's get some homeless report.
Homeless updates. We have the March 2025 report. Solid month. 2 folks moved off the street. They went into temporary housing. The numbers are just going to start to kind of be from 0 to 5 an average out there. And just with our homeless count numbers, it's been pretty good. It just, one of the highlights with this month, and for this report in particular, is the success story that was included in your agenda packets. And this individual that got houses been here for over 2 decades. He's, in and out of housing opportunities, in and out of vehicle, in and out of things that just didn't work out until something just clicked, and then they made it happen for him. So hopefully these success stories continue, but it's just kind of again testament to the great work that the outreach teams do. Solid month. 2 folks moved off the street. 41 unduplicated contacts. Those are new folks that come in, and sometimes they're here for a day, leave that same evening, or stay a couple of days and then leave. So again, these numbers are just kind of level out at that level here, just because of the great work we currently have. And that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Good work.
Do you have are we allowed to ask a description of the individual?
I prefer not to protect his privacy.
The age
Someone who's
group?
been here, he's 60 or 70,
I know who that is.
Central Housing.
Always would sit at the bench. I know that. Thanks.
We find.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, Luis. Good work.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. We have 5E. What is it? 5E?
5E, another one from me. So we have the parking enforcement monthly report. Again, great work being done by LAS, Blue and Blue. We spoke earlier about how quick they react to overnight service requests. Whenever there's a new RV or any other vehicle suspected camping, and we had folks on it immediately. They started going to work. So for the month of March, we had 2,852 citations, so over double what we had in February, and then of course we had a very low number in January because of the fires, and so we didn't have a lot of service capacity in that month, but we were back up to good numbers, and again, 2,852 for the month of March, and as usual, every month, most popular ticket, front or rear license plates, followed by obeying signs, so parking on red curves, that sort of stuff. So again, a lot of warnings being given to, 89 warnings. So again, it's not just sites. A lot of these folks, if they see an opportunity to educate the public on anything they can get corrected, they go ahead and do so. We had a very low citation percentage as well. Contested citation percentage as well, which is good. It means these are some of these stats we can't control. Whether folks contest the citations or not, that's outside of our power there. But it's a little hard to contest something that's been photographed. A lot of these folks are trying to take really good pictures, as are the VOPs, whenever they cite, and so that keeps our numbers for contested citations low. You can see here, 199 citations for the month of March, for a total of 2,653 tickets. It's a pretty good number. So it's going to hopefully continue into the summer, and we'll report back on those months as we continue reporting that.
So when you say contested citations, these are people who are saying, I should not have gotten a ticket.
Correct. The appeal.
It's not winning the appeal. Do we know what percentage approximately? Is it half? Is it 10% would win their appeal?
Of winning? Yeah, we can pull that.
I'm just interested.
Yeah.
Because that'll kind of give us an idea of how
It's a
well.
small number.
It's a very small number.
We'll check it. It's a small number.
2%, 5%,
If
30%. I don't know. I have no idea.
If that is something that you get included in the future reports, we can absolutely include that. That is something we have access to. So we have access to the amount of citations that get contested, as well as the percent of citations that are dismissed because they're successful, rejected because they weren't successful, and the ones that are still either elevated to the next level or just haven't made a decision. So our ticketing software has the ability to provide that.
And it's easy for you to throw that in the report? Okay, then I would like that.
Okay.
And it just kind of gives us an idea of,
For sure.
how they're doing. If half of them are if they're winning half of the appeals, okay, something's wrong here. So I just want to make sure we're doing this.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll be sure to really move forward.
Okay, cool.
And it takes a few months for the process for them to get a hearing or the appeal they're written to be read.
It's there's the first level appeal, which is you go online, you contest it, you have the opportunity to put a picture, write a little description for it. Those are reviewed by the station. If they don't like that decision, they can request an actual formal hearing with our parking enforcement hearing officer here. And those occur once a month. If they don't like that, they can take it all the way to the court if they'd like to. But usually it doesn't get past the second level, just because our parking enforcement hearing officer is just very seasoned. He's been working for various municipalities and he's a two straight. So.
Is that still Kevin Block?
It was. No,
It's not Kevin anymore?
No. Steve's here.
The referee's probably been good.
Yeah, cool. That's it. Happy to answer any other parking enforcement related questions.
How many, just out of curiosity, I'm sure quite a number of those are people contesting the front license plate.
Absolutely.
And what I don't understand, it's a law. You get two license plates with your car. And if the people don't choose to put them on, I don't know what they're contesting.
Or their thing is, a common complaint is that in the appeals it's that shouldn't have been given because I didn't get a ticket for that and it barely did.
Oh, yeah.
I've been living in LA my whole life and I never got a ticket for that. And then I go to Malibu and I got a ticket for it. Why is that?
My car didn't come.
Yeah.
That's a big
Mark had one guy that went off the deep end in Westward, just went nuts and said that he didn't give permission to the VOPs to be around his car.
That wasn't me. That was actually a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Was it a test
But they
drive?
called you on it.
Yeah, they called
No,
me.
I think it was a Rainbow.
Oh, really?
The Teslas and the The ones with like basically those e-vehicles, electric ones that have the electric.
I just don't understand what the thrill is in not having a front license plate.
It makes their car look good. I've heard that many times.
So they're looking at the front of their car that often?
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
But now they have a new decal you can put on there. So if you don't want the metal plate on there, because you have to mount it.
Yeah.
They have this decal you can buy.
Goes on the bumper?
Goes on there,
Have you seen those yet?
yeah.
And on the Tesla?
Yeah, they're very common.
Okay,
And it's actually authorized by the DMV, so
good.
it's easy.
Give them options.
Is putting the plate in the windshield
No.
on the dash?
No.
I see that a lot.
That's a citation, that's position of plates, you can't roll around with it.
RVs like to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. You moved yours
Anything
tonight,
else?
right?
No, I have my plate on, all right?
I'm from Arizona.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything else?
No,
Okay, move to adjourn.
second. Well, I'll tell you what, your first meeting, you got us earlier, out of here earlier than I ever did.
Yeah, well, Eric's not here, so.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, you're right, what happened?
That's true.
Now I have to go home. Ugh.
You can't be everywhere at once.
No, I missed the A and
That's funny, yes.
the
We all want to be down there.
finance meeting.
She comes
It was before this.
in, show up.
It was with Doug and Bruce, it overlapped.
Yeah, the A and F meeting.
Now I have to.
Oh, yeah, hey, man.
The
Need
seniors
some of us
club,
on the floor.
like,
I wanna join.
yeah, the seniors have a class every